Hi, everybody. Good morning and welcome to our webinar. So a lot of people have already joined, so we think that we're ready to start. Today's webinar is all about our Fixflo integration and how it has helped our tenants to solve simple repairs. Today with me, we have Jessica from Fixflo and Jon Champion, who is both a Fixflo and an Arthur client. Jon is a managing director of Champion Property Management, and he would be more than happy to share some of his insights with us. Jessica, would you like to introduce yourself, please? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Nikoleta, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, my name is Jessica Dubey, and I'm the product training manager here at Fixflo. It's really great to be on Arthur's webinar this morning. So thank you so much for having me. And it's great to see so many of you on here. So thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us whilst we talk about this seamless and fantastic integration. Good morning, Jon. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Jon. I'm based here in Norwich, and we're interested to explore. I sat on a webinar like this back last summer and decided to go for Fixflo, and we've had a really positive experience, so happy to share that with everybody.
Excellent. We're so looking forward to speaking to you a little bit later in this webinar, Jon. So thanks so much for joining us this morning. It's brilliant to have you on here. Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that this webinar is, of course, being recorded. We have scheduled an hour for this webinar. That will depend on questions, but just so that you guys know exactly what's coming up in this webinar, I'm just going to go through a quick agenda. So first of all, we're going to be going through an introduction to both Arthur and Fixflo. Then we're going to be talking about why you should give your tenants a one-stop shop for everything they need during their tenancy. We're going to be exploring 3 easy ways to reduce maintenance costs, win and retain customers. And then at the end, there will, of course, be a live Q&A. So this is a really brilliant opportunity for you to get any questions over to us, whether you would like to ask a Fixflo question to myself, or you want to ask Jon a question, who is both a Fixflo and Arthur customer, or if you have a question for Nikoleta about Arthur, please get them over to us. We'd be so happy to go through your questions. We're going to keep everything to the end of the webinar just to keep us fully on track today as well. And before we kind of dive into the introduction of Arthur, Nikoleta, please can I ask you just to launch the first poll? We have 2 polls this morning. Brilliant. In the meantime, we are going to crack on with the webinar, and we're going to start with Nikoleta letting us have a quick introduction to Arthur.
So if you are already an Arthur client, you already know about Arthur. However, in case you're not, Arthur is a cloud-based property management software with a number of seamless integrations and many powerful features. It can bring tenants, contractors, property owners, and property managers together, as all of these user groups can access Arthur either from their app or from their browser. If you're not an Arthur client and you would like to hear more about Arthur, there is going to be a poll at the end of this webinar as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nikoleta. And now I'm going to give you a quick introduction as well to Fixflo. So Fixflo is a platform which allows your occupiers to report maintenance issues anytime, anywhere. It is available in over 40 languages. We have customizable guidance and advice pop-ups there as well. Now, these are absolutely brilliant. We're going to be going into those in a bit more detail in a moment when I actually go through the demonstration and I show you Fixflo. And I know Jon really loves these guidance and advice pop-ups as well. So we're going to be talking to him about those as well. And they can help you to filter out up to 20% of issues, really reducing kind of unnecessary time and helping you to get a quicker fix, which obviously is also brilliant customer service as well, so you can increase your customer service at a scalable rate. And also with Fixflo, it will generate one full report with all of the information on it, meaning that you can get the issue resolved for your occupiers as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, to explain this better, because obviously this is integrated with Arthur, so you can basically have Fixflo running within your Arthur app, I want to show you exactly how this would look from a tenant's point of view. So here you can see kind of, this is my phone. And if I was an Arthur tenant now, and I was a tenant with a property manager who had Arthur, as you guys know, you've got this kind of occupant app here. So this is the Arthur app where tenants can literally click on here, and from here they can access so much information. So they've got here, for example, they can see their contracts, they can see anything which is outstanding in terms of their payments, they can view their contract, there's an inbox there as well, and view all of their payments as well. As well as that, you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of the site, there is a little issues tab. Now, whether you have the integration set up or not, this will always sit there. So if an occupier was to click here on issues, it would then take them through to this page where at the top of the page, just here, there is this little plus button. So by clicking on plus, this is where the integration would make a difference if you have Fixflo integrated into Arthur, because here they are then asked, is this a maintenance issue? So just to be clear, if you have Arthur on its own, they will always be able to report issues within the Arthur app by clicking on the issues button as I just did. But if you've got the Fixflo integration on top, it will sit within here, and the occupier would then click on maintenance and press continue. And this is where they would see Fixflo embedded into Arthur. So by saying this, your occupiers won't actually be aware that you're even using Fixflo, and it will be really, really easy for your occupiers to actually go onto Fixflo, because they're going to still be following exactly the same processes as they did before. Nothing changes. So you're not going to have a situation where your occupiers are struggling to use Fixflo. Your usage should really be quite high. So on here, they are asked, what is the problem? So as you can see, there are a number of different icons available, and this allows the occupier to drill down and let you know exactly what the maintenance issue is. Now, as I mentioned before, we do have these fantastic guidance and advice pop-ups available, and these can help to filter out up to 20% of all issues. Now, these issues can be things such as issues that should not be coming through to you. They can be filtered out. So this could be things such as mildew in the bathroom, batteries and smoke alarms, light bulbs and light fittings as well. These are all really occupier responsibilities, and they should not be coming through to you and your team. When they do, all it does really is waste your time, because then you have to go back to them and either educate them on how to resolve the issue, or say to them, actually, this is something you need to deal with yourself. So let's have a little look at how that pop-up might work. And again, I know this is something that Jon and his team have been really, they've been using the fact that this is customizable to make them as good as they possibly can be. And we will be speaking to Jon about this very, very shortly. So if I'm an occupier now and I'm about to report an issue such as, say, mildew in the bathroom, I may go here to bathroom and toilet. As you can see now, the panels have changed for me. So as an occupier, I am now drilling down to let my property manager know what the issue really is. So I may say that this is in the bath. I may say it's between the bath and the wall just here. And then at the top of the page here, I've got kind of 3 options left. So I've got sealant is discoloured or mouldy, water is leaking between the bath and wall, and other. Now, in this scenario, again, I'm looking for mildew. So I'm going to say that the sealant is discoloured or mouldy. And this is an example of a templated pop-up, which will populate now within the Fixflo site, which again, will sit within your Arthur app. So here it says mildew, and it does have a photo on here. So this shows the occupier exactly what it is that they're reporting. So there can't be kind of any miscommunication. And it says here, just underneath, removal of mildew is often an occupier's responsibility under the terms of their lease. So once again, this is fully customizable. You can add additional information. You can add photos, videos, GIFs. You can add phone numbers as well. You can literally add as much as you want to help educate the tenant further to help them with how they might resolve this. So, for example, with mildew, you might tell them a really good kind of mildew or mold remover, where they can buy it, roughly how much they'll be spending, to help them to get that issue resolved and keep their bathrooms cleaner, keeping your clients' properties better, in better condition. So that is an example. So at this point, really, the occupier should click cancel and actually cancel out of that issue. So again, those issues should fall within that 20% of issues which these guidance and advice pop-ups can help with. Another example of how these guidance and advice pop-ups can help you is with what we call first-time fixes. So a brilliant example of this would be a boiler issue. So if I'm an occupier now and my boiler's broken, I may click here on heating and boiler. I might go to electric boiler or heater. I might say it's my electric boiler and that my boiler here is not working. Now, again, here's another pop-up. Again, this is templated, but you can, of course, customize this. And it says here, check boiler. So if it is safe and convenient to do so, please perform the following checks on your boiler before reporting an issue through. Now, it can be really common when boiler issues come through that actually it's something really, really simple, such as, the pressure has got too low. That's something an occupier can fix at home. If they fix it at home, of course, they get their boiler resolved. So you've got a really happy occupier there because their issue's resolved. You're not spending time trying to get a contractor out. You're not spending money either, the landlord's precious money, getting a contractor out there for something really simple that can be fixed at home. So really, it's a win-win situation for absolutely every single party. And with, for example, boiler issues, one of the really common things that people do is they add videos to these particular pop-ups, showing people, this is how you can repressurize boilers. If you are going to add videos, all you need to do is make sure that that video is hosted somewhere. So it needs to be hosted on something such as YouTube or Vimeo, and the video can actually sit within the pop-up itself. So they're not taken out to another link. It's all here embedded within Fixflo, which again will be within your Arthur app. So at this point, they can do these checks. It could be actually that the issue gets resolved. Brilliant. It sits again within that 20% of issues that get filtered out, saving you time. But perhaps there is an issue. Perhaps we actually need to get this reported. If that's the case, the occupier would click here on continue, and here they would be taken through to report their maintenance issue. Now, one of the brilliant things, and I know Jon thinks this as well, and again, we're going to be speaking to him very soon, is that one of the beauty of Fixflo is that absolutely all of the information ends up in one report for you and your team, meaning you can get the issue resolved as quickly and efficiently as possible for occupiers and have a higher kind of first-time fix rate as well. So in saying that, Fixflo is now going to ask the occupier for certain information, which is absolutely essential for you to get that full report through. So as you can see here, the appliance type is in fact asked for, but that is automatically generated based on the category that the occupier chose. We've also got the make here. So as the occupier starts typing, the different makes will come up to help them with spelling. They are, of course, here asked for a model. They can provide the serial number and the number of flights of stairs to the appliance if they wish. And finally, here they add the fault detail. So with the fault detail, obviously, the more information they add, the better. But here I'm just going to add something like, my boiler is not turning on. Brilliant. And then once they're happy with all that information, all the required information is filled out, they can select next. Here they're taken step 2, where they can add up to 10 photos, videos or audio files, which can, of course, provide you with a more complete report. When it comes to adding their address and their contact information, because they're within the Arthur app, actually all of that information will already be provided for them. So they don't need to add in their address and contact details again, meaning that they can report a maintenance issue even quicker. So address details are in there. Brilliant. So are the contact details. We're happy with that. And then finally, it's just the final step, which is confirm and send. Here they can say whether or not they'd like to be present when the works are carried out. They can provide things such as pet information, alarm information. They've also got the further notes section just here at the top. And they must agree to, these are the Fixflo terms and conditions. Now, they sit there to say that Fixflo is a hub, which they're reporting the issue on, but Fixflo itself are not responsible for resolving the issue because we're the platform they report it on. They can let you know as well whether there is a vulnerable occupier at the property, which is obviously brilliant to know, because then actually the issue is probably higher priority than it was previously. And once they're happy, they can simply press submit issue. Once they submit the issue, that's it. The issue is now taken through to Fixflo, and it will go directly into Arthur for you, allowing you to resolve the issue. And it's told them here that the issue has now been submitted. They will then receive, of course, an email at the time to say that, you know, this has now been received, and that currently complies with Section 21 as well, as it provides them with an adequate response. So I hope that gives you a really good understanding of how Fixflo works, how it sits within Arthur as well, and all of the details that are needed. I can see a few questions have already come in, which is absolutely brilliant. Do keep asking them. Again, we will respond to all of them at the end of the webinar, just to keep us on track today. But I do hope that was a kind of good example of how Fixflo works and how it sits within Arthur as well. Just to let you know, when it comes to setting up the integration, this really couldn't be easier. This is set up within the Arthur store itself. So all you need to do within the Arthur store is select workflow integrations and then choose Fixflo. Whether you are a customer of Fixflo or not, you can set this integration up. If you are an existing Fixflo customer, then it will ask you for certain information, and the instructions are all there for you, telling you exactly what you need and how you can access that as well. And if you are a non-Fixflo customer, well, it's simple. You can sign up there and then somebody from Fixflo will be in touch with you regarding your setup. It's around, so it will be based on how many units you have, and it's priced at 40p a unit, but all of that again is shown when you go to sign up. I do hope all of that makes sense. And now what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Jon, because I'm so excited to have him on here, because as Nikoleta mentioned, he is both a customer of Fixflo and of Arthur. I know he's been with Arthur for many years, and it'd just be great to kind of have a conversation with you, Jon. So Jon, welcome to today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, can you just tell us a little about yourself and your company?
Yeah, I set up Champion Property in 2014. We have a handful of sort of family lets, but the vast majority of what we do is student rentals. So we also have another brand that we put that under as Norwich Student Lettings. So I've been using, so I set up in 2014, been using Arthur since 2016, and we're about 10 months into Fixflo. We've got, I jotted it down before I came on, we've got about 137 units, which equates to 590 tenants on the system at the moment.
Excellent, brilliant. Thank you so much. So regarding kind of the integration, so before you set up the integration with Arthur and Fixflo, can we ask Jon, what were the main issues that you were having, which the integration has actually helped you to tackle?
I guess it is a lot of those low level issues that, because we have so many students, they're not typically aware of how to do things that maybe in a family let people would just automatically change a light bulb or unclog a drain. And every year we start again in September with a whole new cohort of 19-year-olds, a bit wet behind the ears and don't quite know how to do these things. We also then found the quality of the information that we got through was a bit lacking. So it then involved a bit of back and forth, or we'd have to go over and have a look at the property, because it's when a 19, 20-year-old student sends you some information about something that's wrong, it's always a disaster and the end of the world and everything's falling apart. And sometimes you get over there and it's really not quite what they've said. So yeah, quality of information was probably also one of our bigger challenges.
Brilliant. So when I showed the Fixflo kind of integration within Arthur earlier, I did say that people can, you know, upload photos and videos. Do you feel people use that? Is that utilized well?
Yeah, they use it more now, now with the Fixflo integration. As far as our tenants are concerned, they're using the same system that they've always used. So they don't know, like you say, they don't know that they're using Fixflo. But I think Fixflo builds on the existing task management system within Arthur, which is really good, but it just develops it further and requires them to put in a bit more information. It's a little bit, I guess it's more, it takes them by the hand and leads them through the process that results in us getting a lot better quality information through at the end, such as photos, more descriptions, makes, models, things like that, which our contractors really appreciate, because then they can maybe turn up to a washing machine repair, for example, with they've got the parts ready to go, or they've been able to order something in.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So previously then, before you got Fixflo and you set up this integration, were you having to help tenants on the phone to resolve issues that, I don't know, shouldn't have been reported through to you? So examples, mold, mildew, batteries and smoke alarms, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And just doing the same thing over and over, going to see tenants. There's so many common issues that come up time and time again, and it just feels like really redundant time that you're spending. And I always thought, there needs to be a better way. We'd actually developed on our own website an FAQ section to try and cut this down and just point people towards the FAQs. But again, you've got to manually tell them where to go, and they don't tend to look at it. So we'd already sort of spotted the problem, but didn't quite have the right solution.
Brilliant. And I suppose with these guidance and advice pop-ups, it's targeted because people are selecting exactly what the issue is. And then that targeted message is coming up to say, okay, this is the issue here. These solutions might work for you. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we first got Fixflo, it works really well out of the box. So there's lots of prepared templates and advice, but the ability to then go into it and tailor it specifically to our portfolio or our contractors. We've embedded lots of videos of us standing in front of boilers or changing a light bulb, things like the IP rated light fittings in a bathroom. It's still a light bulb, but tenants are a bit unsure what to do. Whereas actually, once you just bayonet off the light fitting, and hey, here's the link to the weird 16-watt kind of strange light bulb that you get in those light fittings, but here's the link on Amazon, and things like that. We've been able to tailor it more and more and more, and we're just noticing that we get far fewer of those come through to an email at the end of the day, which then can make it hard to track the progress because we don't get them. You don't realize until it's like, hey, we haven't had a message about this for a long time, which is great.
Yeah, 100%, because then you can put that time and that energy into other things rather than, like you say, having those repetitive conversations and just feeling like, gosh, it's that again. It can all just be self-served within Fixflo, which sits within Arthur. So that's brilliant. Also, back to kind of that whole full report. So did you feel before, like previously, there was kind of a lot of back and forth between your team and your tenants to actually understand what the issue is? Or I don't know, were you spending a lot on call outs? What were the issues there?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we tend to like pop out and have a look if necessary, or you'll just email, oh, can you send us a photo? Oh no, not that photo. Can you send us this? Or we're having to go over and have a look to get more quality of information. Of course, I'm sure everybody can relate to going to a property, coming back, speaking to a contractor, and then realizing that you need another piece of information that you didn't have before. And so, yeah, it just streamlines the process. There's a degree to which the process, there's always a little bit of, working some things out, and it can always be slightly more efficient, but we've certainly noticed a vast improvement on just wasting our time. So it's an awful lot quicker for all of our team.
That is fantastic to hear. Thank you so much. So in terms of getting your occupiers to use Fixflo, I mean, we just saw it sits within the Arthur app itself, so there is no change. But have you found it's easy getting your tenants to use, I guess, Arthur and Fixflo to report maintenance issues as opposed to calling and emailing?
Yeah, that can be a bit of a challenge. Initially, we try and really reinforce it. So at our check-in process, in fact, even at our contract signing, we're explaining already, hey, this is how it works, because we want them to know right from the off that we're here for you. We kind of use the phrase here when you need us is like our strap line as a company, and saying, look, this is how to do it most effectively. If you email and I'm on holiday, you're just going to get an out of hours. But if you send it to Arthur, then all of the team are going to see it and we can all be covered off. We try, and so we educate them. And then when they call or when they email, because they never do what they're told, we just reinforce again, hey, yeah, thanks for calling. Actually, can you make sure that in the future you do this? In the future, it's always one, if you're in the house with them sorting issue A, and you get those famous words, oh, while you're here. And again, hey, actually, I know you've just told me, but can you raise it as an issue on Arthur? Because then I'm going to remember it. I'm going to see it. I don't want to get in my car and forget. So if you send it or raise it as an issue, then we can file it, we can record it, we can make sure the right people see it.
100%. I mean, I know you did a survey recently as well, and of that survey, 79% of occupiers who answered this said their most recent maintenance issue was actually reported via Arthur, which was really, really nice to see. So I think you're always going to get that odd one that you have to remind them. But because I think it's all going through Arthur, there is no change. If you're already an Arthur customer and you're looking at getting potentially the Fixflo integration, it's not going to change any process for them. It's just going to make it better and have better quality information. So that's brilliant. So how has using Fixflo helped you and your team save time, would you say?
I think, firstly, by not having to go out and deal with as many requests, so we just have far fewer issues come through. What's quite nice about Fixflo is you get a little report that tells you how many issues were raised that actually then never came through to us. So you can see, oh man, like this month it saved us all of these call outs. Saves us time in writing lengthy emails explaining, oh, okay, you have to deal with this. So whether it's just admin time or whether it's visiting a property time, because of course, visiting a property isn't just the time you spend in the property, it's the time getting in the car and driving there and driving back, and then the headspace to get back into the thing that you were doing in the first place. And so it multiplies out. It saves us time going back and forth, collecting more detailed information. It saves us time going back and forth with our contractors. We can just send that on. So yeah, it's almost impossible to add it up. But when we reflect back over the last sort of 6-8 months, we've noticed just a drastic difference in the amount of spare time. Well, not spare time, but additional time that we have to focus on the things that we really want to be doing as a company.
Yeah, that is so lovely to hear, especially having worked at Fixflo for such a long time. And I genuinely do really believe in the product. So it's really nice to hear when it does have this amazing impact on customers who use it. And yeah, as you mentioned, there is a report on Fixflo. So there are 2 reports available within kind of the Fixflo package that integrates with Arthur. One is it will show you all of the issues that have been reported, and the other is it will show you how many issues have actually been resolved through your guidance and advice pop-ups. So from there, you can see, okay, maybe we do need to go in and customize these guidance and advice pop-ups. It's really, really simple to do. Or you might think, actually, this is saving us a whole bunch of time. This is brilliant. This is something we never had before. So yeah, that is something you can definitely see, because you will have your own login to the back end of Fixflo, if you like, with those reports available. And that's also where you would go to customize the guidance and advice pop-ups too. So Jon, I know the guidance and advice pop-ups you're a really big fan of those. So do you want to kind of tell the attendees today what you've done with your guidance and advice pop-ups? I know you've worked really hard on making them the best you possibly can have them.
Yeah, so like I said, they work really well out of the box. A bit like an iPhone already does kind of everything you want it to do, but the more you download different apps and plug different things in, the more it can do. So we used it as a platform to then build on. With the student rental academic cycle, we're fairly quiet during the spring months, and so we gave it as a project to my colleague Chris, who did a fantastic job going through all of the different the different flows that you could end up with. So you can download from Fixflo a tree of all the different places that you can end up by, like, as a flow chart. And he customized a lot of the pop-ups and responses with specialist advice. We added videos. We did some videos that we produced and developed ourselves, particularly common issues. All you need is a selfie stick and an iPhone, and try to remember, okay, next time I unclog a drain, I'm going to film myself, talking about how to do this, or like I said, with a light bulb or a washing machine filter, all sorts of things like that. And we just add them on. Like I said before, Amazon links. You can make use of other people's videos on YouTube. Of course, you don't have to film them all yourself. And because of the nature of what we do with students, there's quite like a streamlined approach to, we know the sorts of issues that come up. So we maybe spent a bit more time and focus on the most common ones, and we'll just continue to develop it over the years, and updating links, updating advice, to just make sure that our tenants are empowered to resolve issues, because actually they feel great when they resolve their own issue. One of the questions we asked them in the little survey was, how would you go about this? How have you responded to the results? And they're saying, oh yeah, we'd just buy a plunger or buy some mold spray and deal with it ourselves. In fact, a number of them were saying that they felt like by using Fixflo, they'd learned a life skill that they were then going to use later on in life, as opposed to me popping around and doing it. It's a real give a man a fish, feed him for a day, give him a fishing rod, or teach him how to fish, the old proverb. And that's how we see it. And it's worked really well for us.
That's so lovely to hear. Yeah, you can get a real sense of achievement, I guess, when you're fixing your own issues rather than relying on someone all the time. And you've got students, and like you say, it is a life skill and it is teaching them. So it's all about kind of education. And then next time that happens, rather than going to report the issue, they'll think, actually, I remembered that, or I just need to watch that video again. I know where to go. So no, that's really, really lovely. You also mentioned about Amazon earlier, so I know you've kind of added your own links about certain light bulbs and things like that. So that's also something that people can do. You can literally make these guidance and advice pop-ups your own, because this is going out to your customers or your tenants. It's not going to anyone else. So yeah, you can literally make them your own. Brilliant. So can I just ask, so what impact has using Fixflo had on your relationships with your contractors as well?
Yeah, they really like it because they get better information. Contractors tend to bill us for the work that they do, but there's often a lot of driving around and multiple visits and ordering parts. That is a bit of a grey area of, does it go on the bill? Does it not go on the bill? And so if they're getting really good information and they can just get stuff ordered, do it in one hit, it's saving them time and money and headspace. So they really love it. And having a good relationship with our contractors is so key. I can never understand contractors moaning about not getting paid on time by letting agents, because we're cash positive. So we make sure that we look after our contractors, both by paying them but well and on time, and by giving them good quality information. As a result, they think that we're great. They want to work for us more. They're more likely to do us a favor. We had one recently where the guy had knocked off and was at home, but it's like, look, we know exactly what we need. Would you mind popping out? And because he likes working for us and wants to keep that good relationship, he was happy to make an exception and go the extra mile for us as a company. And nurturing those quality of relationships with contractors, as I'm sure everybody listening will agree, is really crucial to running an effective agency.
Perfect. No, that sounds so positive. And what about landlords? Has it had like an impact on your landlords? Has it helped? Obviously hopefully it would keep their properties in better stead, but have they noticed this? Has it saved them any money, any time?
I think probably most of our landlords wouldn't know it, They might realize when they look back in the future, but there's definitely saving them money, because they're not paying us to go out and deal with things, whether it's paying us or the contractors. And like you say, I think equipping tenants to look after a house better is always going to result in lower maintenance costs, whether that's sort of running maintenance costs or when the tenancy turns around, which for us with students is almost every year. It's just reducing wear and tear on the property. So yeah, I don't think our landlords would realize it, but it's definitely saving them money.
Brilliant, excellent. Nikoleta, do you have any questions for Jon?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, excellent. Jon, have you kind of got anything before we go through the Q&A? Because a few questions have come in, which I'm really pleased to see. Do you have any kind of final comments that you want to say about the integration and how it works, or do you think we've kind of covered it all?
Maybe just a couple of things. I mean, the integration's a doddle. It was literally when we got it set up, we clicked a button and it worked straight away. So there was no dramas there. Very straightforward. Just I was looking at my notes, and one thing that we chatted about before, we have found over the years an increasing number, particularly dealing with student tenants, increasing numbers of students that maybe struggle with their mental health, maybe on the autistic spectrum, or struggle with anxiety, and they don't really like talking about these things on the phone. And there's always the possibility that they neglect an issue because they are worried or anxious about picking up a phone and calling us as a company. They don't know who's going to pick up the phone, who they're going to be dealing with. And to equip them and to provide a resource for them to resolve their issues remotely has actually been really powerful and helpful for them too. So it might not be the main focus, but it's definitely an added benefit for those tenants that might struggle with that sort of thing.
That's really, really nice to hear as well, especially for those who might struggle to pick the phone up, just to know that they're not just kind of sitting at home dwelling about it and not being able to report it, but actually they also have a way to report maintenance issues, which is obviously the way you want to push. You want to be, if you do set this up, you want to be making sure that everybody's aware of the Arthur app, that they know that is where they go for not just reporting maintenance issues, but that's where they can see their contract, they can view their payments, they've got a little inbox there as well. So absolutely everything can be managed within this one-stop shop, including maintenance issues, and they will not, as Jon mentioned, they won't notice a difference. That all they'll see, is that it's changed slightly, but they're still following that same process, and they're literally taken through a really easy kind of flow of this is how you report the issue. It's quick as well. They can add as much detail as possible. They're prompted to do that, and their contact details and address details will pull through, as I showed you previously. I'm just going to share my screen for just a moment. Jon, thank you so much. We're going to go through some questions. There might be some for you on there as well. So if we can just all stay online for a few more minutes. I just want to kind of one more time just recap on these benefits of the integration. So here we have got, it's a seamless integration. As Jon mentioned, it's already a doddle to set up. It's quick, and it will mean that absolutely everything will pull through. And again, your occupiers are just taken to that one place for absolutely everything. It will help to boost productivity. So that's massively among your team, and also for your contractors. It will improve your relationships as well with all parties, which is actually that third bullet point there. But with that productivity being boosted and you having more time, you can then take that time to focus on things that really do need your time and attention, rather than having the same repetitive conversation with your occupiers about things that really you can put all into Fixflo. So about to go through the Q&A. Nikoleta, could you just launch the final poll? And now we're going to go through your questions. So the first two are actually from Christina, but it seems like you've resolved your issue yourself. So can the icons be configured to a property, e.g. properties with no garages? And also that poll is now launched. So if everybody could just let us know, that would be fantastic. So again, can the icons be configured to a property, e.g. properties with no garages? So yes, you can configure the icons. There are set ones there, but they can be added and removed. If you were to go with Fixflo and you notice that actually some icons were missing that are not available, you can let us know. We will, of course, send it over to the product team. We cannot promise that absolutely everything will end up on Fixflo, but we will always do our very best for you. But these can be added and removed based on what is there. So yes, of course, you could, for example, remove garages. They're either removed across your whole Fixflo platform, or they're there, if that makes sense. So it couldn't be per property. You couldn't have, for this property they have garages and for this one they don't. You could either have it or not. But yes, of course, you can configure it. I hope that makes sense. Excellent. So thank you for your question, Christina. Chris, hello, welcome to the webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. How did you make that animation? So we have got, so I think the animation you're talking about is the one with the boiler issue that was on there. That is just a GIF that was created here at Fixflo. That is part of the template on the templated pop-up. So as John said, a lot of it is out of the box, and that is something that we provide for you. But of course, you can amend it. You can add your own GIFs. You can add your own videos. I mean, John's spoken about that. I know he's done his own videos that he's then hosted on something such as YouTube or Vimeo to then embed onto Fixflo, but that is something that is kind of there on the templated pop-up, if you like, and it was created by Fixflo. Hope that makes sense. Thank you. Robin, good morning. Thanks again for joining us. What is the additional cost for this integration? Is it a flat rate or is it charged per unit? So it's a monthly fee just to have the Fixflo subscription, and that is 40p per unit. There's no kind of additional cost because it's an integration. It's literally you're paying for Fixflo and then you integrate the two. As John mentioned, it's really quick and easy to do. You do it within the Arthur store. If you want us to reach out to you about a demonstration for Fixflo, we can go through pricing with you depending on obviously how many units you have. And just let us know on the poll and we'll get someone in touch. You can always go onto the Arthur store as well, click on workflow integrations, choose Fixflo, and then say that you're not a customer, and there you'll see the pricing. It will give you kind of based on how many units you currently have, but it's just a flat kind of monthly fee, if that makes sense. There's no additional for the integration. Hope that makes sense, but do respond on the poll and of course we'll be in touch. Can it all be customized before going live? Sarah, thank you for your question. Yeah, so you can literally go into Fixflo before going live. I'm not actually 100% sure. So I have a feeling you would go live and then you would have access to the back end, but that is something you could talk to Fixflo about to see if you, I don't know, could have a couple of days first of all to get everything ready. We do have a really great onboarding team here at Fixflo as well. I'm part of the kind of product marketing team, so I work in the training side of it, but you would have to just double check that with somebody from Fixflo, either in the sales team or the onboarding team. I'm sorry that I don't know 100% the answer, but it's so quick and easy to customize. Even if you were live, as John mentioned, you already have the templated pop-up, so it would already be working to a degree. And then you could take some time and think, actually, how do we want to make sure that these pop-ups are the best they possibly can be to save you even more time? So I hope that answers your question. But in terms of before going live, you might just need to check with whoever you speak to at Fixflo. Christina, thank you for another question. Is the cost of hosting the videos part of Fixflo an additional cost? No, if you want to have videos on there, you just embed them onto your pop-ups. There's no additional cost for that at all. Fixflo is going to be the same whether you customize it or not. So there'll be no additional fee there. You just get those from YouTube. And again, we have got a fantastic help site available at Fixflo. So it's a kind of, let me have a little look if I can find it, bear with. So it's literally help.fixflo.com. Here we have got a range of articles to help you, and there is also one on how you can embed videos. Yeah, here we go. How do I embed videos onto the guidance and advice pop-ups? So we have got kind of a range of helpful articles and videos here to help you get set up with Fixflo as well. We've got a fantastic team too, and you can always reach out to them as well. Thank you. Frederick, thanks for your question. Can the manager have access to the tenant app so we can test it out for ourselves? When you say the manager, do you mean somebody in your team that wants to have access to the tenant app? I guess Nikoleta, this actually might be a question for you. If you have a customer who's already an Arthur client, can they set themselves up as an occupier and have a look at how the occupier app would work?
Yes, hi. So yes, you can. In this case, what I always recommend my clients is to create a fake tenant. Just make sure that the email of the fake tenant, it's not the same that you use as a property manager. So simply the same way that you invite any other tenant, invite yourself, but Arthur won't know that you are the same person because the email address is going to be different. So yes, you can.
Brilliant. Frederick, I hope that has answered your question. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nikoleta. Sherelle, hello, thank you for joining us this morning. So when you're uploading photos and videos of how to fix things, each property may have a different boiler, for example, or a few with the same one. Is there a quick way of adding images or multiple properties when they have the same boiler in place, or does this need to be done on a property by property basis? Thank you. So when you're amending your guidance and advice pop-ups, you are just amending the template. It's not for this property, it's going to be this, for that property, it'll be that. It is just the same template for each one. So, I mean, you could, for example, have multiple videos on there if you wanted to, and you could title them and say, you know, I don't know, for a Combi Worcester boiler, please do this. For a glowworm boiler, do this. You could do that. And as Jon said, you could always have links out as well so that the template, the pop-up's not kind of too long as well. So there are links that you could add there as well. But I think overall, you know, these videos, people do get the gist of things. You could even add a note to say that, you know, we've done our best to cater for everyone, but there might be some slight changes. So it can't be done on a per property basis, but I think even just changing the templates can honestly have such a big effect. And like I say, you can have multiple videos, you can also have links as well. So I hope that answers your question. Robin, thanks for your second question. We have a mix of commercial and residential. Can this be adapted to only apply to residential properties? Yes, so we do have different kind of offerings at Fixflo. We've got Fixflo lettings, we've got Fixflo, we've got like block and commercial, so you could have a different issue true route. That's absolutely fine. Simply speak to your contact at Fixflo about it. If you've responded on the poll that actually you would like someone to speak to somebody, then you could speak to somebody about potentially having a different issue true route. It doesn't need to be the kind of standard lettings one if that doesn't suit your company. Okay, a few more questions, so I'm going to keep going. For anyone leaving us now, just to let you know, there is a survey at the end of the webinar. When you click out, you will be asked, there's just a couple of questions on there. We absolutely love to hear feedback from you all, so do please just take a minute of your time to answer that so we can know how good this webinar was, or if there's anything we could do to make it better going forward. We would love to hear from you. We want, you know, to have more of these webinars, so let us know how you've gone on today's Arthur webinar. Robin, another question. Brilliant. Great to see you asking so many. We are an investment landlord with multiple Arthur accounts from different companies we own. All have a certain number of properties under them. Is there a minimum cost blanket for each account? For example, if one account only needs to be 10 included and the other needs to be 100, I would say you would need to have that discussion really with our sales company, with our sales team, sorry. So they would definitely be the best people to speak to. So again, on that poll, if you've answered yes, then brilliant. Someone will reach out to you from Fixflo, and you could definitely have that conversation around pricing. If you do have, like you say, different companies, then I'm sure different like Arthur accounts, and I'm sure we could come up with something for you. I can't say 100%, but that is something you'd be able to speak to the sales team about. Christina, hi again. Will there be a recording that will be shared so that we can let other members of this team see this webinar? Yes, of course, we record all of our webinars, and we will be sending this out. We might take a few days to get this out to you, so it will definitely be within the week. We'll get everything sent out to you. There's just a few things we need to do, and I'm actually going on annual leave, so we'll get it out as soon as we can, but it might take about a week to get out to everyone. So please do bear with us, but we are, of course, recording this. Raj, hello. Is there a way that landlords can be copied into the Fixflo and Arthur notifications and messages sent to the management agents? Nikoleta, this one might be for you to answer.
Hi, Hi, Raz. So yes, absolutely. Just bear in mind that even your landlords or your tenants, they won't know that you're really using Fixflo. So forget about Fixflo. It's all about Arthur and the automations that we have in Arthur. So please have a look in our knowledge base about automations, so that you can see the triggers and the actions that you can build in order to send out emails, SMSs, notifications to your property owners, to your tenants, and to the property manager. So yes, it is absolutely possible. You can build whatever you want, and you can find further information in our knowledge base and then in the automation section. Thank you so much. Or jump in the chat. We would be more than happy to help you in the Arthur chat. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Rebecca, hello. Thanks for joining us. Can the tenant upload videos on the integration or photos only? So when an occupier is reporting a maintenance issue via Fixflo, which sits within Arthur, they have the opportunity to add up to 10 photos, videos, and audio files. So yes, they can, of course, add videos there too. And again, that can give a more complete report. We've all heard, that saying a photo tells 1,000 words or something. So it just really can help you to understand better what the issue there is. Raj, hi again. Is there a way that Fixflo can tell the tenants that they have to sort out the fault reported? As you said, it's a waste of time tenants reporting faults which they need to sort out. Yes, so with our guidance and advice pop-ups, we do say that they can help to filter out up to 20% of issues. And these are issues that are what we would consider first-time fixes. And with that example, we had the boiler issue and issues like you've mentioned that really are occupier responsibilities. So things like mold in the bathroom, batteries and smoke alarms, light bulbs and light fittings. So you can customize the templated pop-ups and you can say, this is actually the occupier's responsibility under the terms of the lease. And you can give them more guidance on how they might want to fix it. So a mold remover they might want to buy, or as John mentioned, how to actually replace that light bulb from that light fitting, which can help to educate them going forward, meaning that going forward, they're not going to go to try and report that issue again because they've learned something from you. It's all about tenant education there. So yes, of course, you can tell a tenant that actually this is their thing to resolve. An anonymous attendee, so thank you for a great webinar. Jazz, you're so welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you on here. Frederick, can this recording be sent to us? Well, of course, the recording will be sent to absolutely everybody who registered for the webinar. But like I say, it might be out in about a week, so do bear with us on that. But yes, we will send the recording out. Frederick, we've just finished the onboarding process and have already a demonstration of Arthur and Fixflo. Brilliant. That's so great to hear. I hope you get on really well with the demonstrations. We manage 400 student rooms, so this has been very helpful, and we will be integrating with students in July. So this has been very helpful. Fantastic, Frederick. I'm so glad it's been helpful. As I say, we will get that recording over to you, and I'm sure it's been brilliant because, as you say, John has the exact same kind of portfolio, so I'm glad this has been helpful, particularly to yourself. Another anonymous attendee, we have Fixflo and Arthur online. Our tenants already use Fixflo, but not Arthur. Can the integration work for us? Would it mean if we update the tenants on Arthur, Fixflo would be updated too? So it all depends on kind of which Fixflo package you are on. So with the integration with Arthur, it is our basic integration, i.e. having Fixflo basic. If you have a higher package of Fixflo, it could be that the integration doesn't work so well. This might be something where actually if you reach out to help@fixflo.com, it might be something we can talk about with how the integration would work for you, because this is more of a kind of specific question to you. So again, the email address is help@fixflo.com. If you can just reach out, someone would be happy to answer that. I'm just going to type that to you so that you can see, and if you email that email address, they'll be able to help you. Nicholas, hi, thanks for joining. You mentioned 40p per managed unit per month, but you have to pay a £50 software fee per month too. Bear with me one second. So let me have a quick look. Sorry, I'm Nikoleta. I'm just looking at the thing you sent me earlier where it said the 40p.
No worries. Nicholas, hi. No, there isn't any extra fee. Have you seen this somewhere? So if you're already an Arthur client, just please go on your Arthur store. It's all the way down in your Arthur account. Click in the Arthur store, then click on web workflow integrations, and then Fixflo. You will get the pricing is there before you subscribe. So you will get a detailed pricing. There is not an extra fee. You will be just get charged according to your units. However, if there is any fee that I'm missing, please let us know where you saw that. Thank you so much.
Yes, with that one, Nicholas, there might be something I unfortunately am missing as well. I know that. I'm not. Let's get back to you on that one. Maybe reach out directly regarding the software fee. Again, because I work in the training side of things and not the sales, sometimes I can't remember all the exact numbers. But yeah, we can definitely get back for you. All right. Brilliant. Frederick, yes, someone in my team. I'm guessing that's about the recording. Yes, we'll get that over to you. Brilliant. Another anonymous attendee, would you recommend Fixflo with a company with small number of units, say 30 to 40 units, considering the number of units where property maintenance issues are not much monthly? I mean, you can definitely speak to somebody in our team about Fixflo. We'd probably say maybe it would be, if you're not getting that many issues through, you might feel that you're not getting kind of your money's worth, if that makes sense, if you do have a low number of units. But speak to somebody in the team. If you didn't answer yes on the poll, that's no problem at all. You can always get in touch with us. You can go to fixflo.com and you can say, you'd like a demo. You can also reach out help@fixflo.com and someone will get in touch. Someone from our sales team would be probably better to speak to about how many units where it really does pay off. And with 30 to 40 units, your portfolio might grow and you might still feel like actually it's saving you and your team time. Even when you've got a small number of units, if you're still getting maintenance issues through and it's the same thing every time and you're having those repetitive conversations, it can, of course, always be helpful. Quest London, hello. Would this webinar be available somewhere to watch again? Thank you. Yes, we are recording this. As I say, it will be over to us within around the week. Are we still notified when a maintenance issue was reported but the tenant was able to sort using Fixflo? So regarding that, yes, like we said, there is a report available where you can view all of the maintenance issues which were resolved by the occupier before submitting, and that will give you a really good idea as to how helpful your guidance and advice pop-ups are being. And from there, you can only just imagine how much time it is saving you. So yes, that is available. You'll need to be a Fixflo customer. It will be available within the back end, so the agent end, and it's under reports. On the basic Fixflo site, there are 2 reports available. One is issues submitted, and the other is issues which were resolved, resolved before being submitted, something like that. So that second report there will allow you to see just how helpful those guidance and advice pop-ups are being. And you might notice that actually we need to improve our guidance and advice pop-ups a little bit, and that will then spur you on to go through, just as John has, and actually take that project on to improve them. But it is out the box and there's lots of templates there for you. Hey, hello, thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to the recording. Will you also send the presentation slides out for our information? So the presentation slides here, they will be available within the recording itself, but I can see if we can get those over to you as well. Usually, admittedly, we don't send them, but I'll have a look. Excellent. Thanks so much, Nicholas. Yes, speak to somebody about in the sales team. It might be that it's not there on the Arthur store. And maybe that's something that we do need to look into. Brilliant. John, thank you so much for joining us today. I think we can just all say our goodbyes now. So yeah, John, do you want to
Thanks very much. I don't think I have anything to say.
Brilliant. Nikoleta, thank you again. Thank you for having me on the webinar today.
John, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.